You spend $1,500 on a precision rifle. You buy the best optics money can buy. You practice every weekend for months. But when it matters most, your shots are scattered across the target like confetti. The problem isn't your skill. It's not your equipment. It's these 7 critical mistakes that 90% of shooters make without even realizing it. Today, we are breaking down the 7 gun mistakes that kill accuracy and reliability. Let's start with number 7. Number 7. The ammunition mismatch disaster. Walk into any gun store and you'll see dozens of different ammunition options for every caliber. Different grain weights, powder charges, bullet designs, and manufacturers. Most shooters grab whatever's cheapest or most available, throw it in their rifle, and wonder why their groups look like a shotgun pattern. Your rifle was designed and tested with specific ammunition specifications. When you change the ammunition, you change the ballistic performance, the point of impact, and the consistency of your shots. A rifle that shoots half-inch groups with one type of ammunition might spread those same shots across 3 inches with different ammo. The grain weight of the bullet affects the barrel harmonics. When a rifle fires, the barrel actually flexes and vibrates in a consistent pattern. Different bullet weights change this harmonic frequency, causing the muzzle to be pointing in slightly different directions when each bullet exits. This is why precision shooters spend hundreds of dollars testing different ammunition loads to find what their specific rifle prefers. The powder charge affects velocity consistency. Inconsistent velocities mean some bullets arrive high on the target while others hit low. Budget ammunition often has wider velocity variations between rounds, leading to vertical stringing on your targets. Premium ammunition with tighter quality control maintains more consistent velocities, keeping your shots grouped together. The bullet design affects aerodynamics and stability. A match-grade hollow-point boat-tail bullet flies differently than a full metal jacket round nose. The shape affects how the bullet cuts through the air, how it responds to wind, and how stable it remains in flight. Here's the fix. Choose one high-quality ammunition load and stick with it for all your precision shooting. Test different grain weights and manufacturers to find what your rifle prefers, but once you find that sweet spot, buy it in bulk. Keep a shooting log noting which ammunition works best in your rifle. Don't switch ammunition types just because there's a sale or different ammo available. Consistency in ammunition leads to consistency in results. Professional competitive shooters often hand-load their ammunition to exact specifications because they understand this principle. They're not trying to save money or show off their reloading skills. They're eliminating ammunition variables that prevent consistent accuracy. Number 6. The trigger control catastrophe. The trigger is the critical interface between you and your rifle. Everything you do right with stance, grip, sight alignment, and breathing can be destroyed in the fraction of a second it takes to press the trigger. Yet most shooters have never learned proper trigger control, and their groups suffer dramatically because of it. The most common trigger mistake is using the wrong part of your finger. Many shooters place the trigger in the crease of the first joint or use the tip of their index finger. This creates an angular pull that pushes the rifle off target just as the shot breaks. The trigger should contact your finger at the first pad, the meaty part between the tip and the first joint. Jerking the trigger is the second destroyer of accuracy. When shooters anticipate the recoil or noise, they unconsciously jerk the trigger quickly to get the shot over with. This sudden movement yanks the rifle off target. The trigger press should be a smooth, straight-back motion that surprises you when the shot breaks. Using too much finger strength ruins precision. Shooters often grip the trigger with their entire hand, tensing up their fingers, wrist, and forearm. This tension transfers to the rifle and creates wobble just as the shot fires. Only the index finger should move during the trigger press. The rest of your hand should maintain steady pressure on the grip without changing. Staging the trigger improperly costs accuracy. Many triggers have a take-up phase where you can press partway back without firing, then a wall where additional pressure breaks the shot. Shooters often press to the wall, pause, then jerk through the break. Instead, the motion should be continuous and smooth from start to finish. Following through incorrectly throws off shots. The moment after the trigger breaks, many shooters immediately relax their grip and move the rifle to see where they hit. The bullet is still in the barrel for several milliseconds after the firing pin strikes the primer. Any movement during this time affects accuracy. Hold your sight picture and trigger finger position until the bullet has completely left the barrel. Here's how to fix your trigger control. Start with dry fire practice using snap caps or an empty chamber in a safe direction. Focus on pressing straight back with only your index finger while maintaining perfect sight alignment. Practice until you can press the trigger without moving the rifle's point of aim. Use the ball and dummy drill at the range. Mix snap caps randomly with live rounds in your magazine without looking. When you hit a snap cap, you'll see any flinching or jerking motion clearly. This drill reveals bad habits and helps you develop consistent trigger control. Work on your trigger finger placement. The trigger should contact your finger in the same place for every shot. Mark that position with a small dot of nail polish or tape until the muscle memory develops. Number 5. The grip inconsistency error. Your grip is the foundation that connects you to the rifle. An inconsistent or improper grip introduces variables that make precision impossible. Every time you change how you hold the rifle, you change how it recoils, how the sights align, and where the bullets impact the target. Grip pressure variations destroy accuracy. Some shooters hold their rifle like it might escape, while others barely maintain contact. Changes in grip pressure change the rifle's behavior during recoil and affect the harmonics as the bullet travels down the barrel. Your grip should be firm enough to control the rifle, but not so tight that you introduce tremor or fatigue. Hand placement inconsistency ruins precision. The support hand placement on the forend or grip affects how the rifle behaves during recoil. Moving your support hand forward or backward by even an inch changes the rifle's balance point and recoil characteristics. This changes where your shots impact the target. The shooting hand position affects trigger control. If your firing hand is positioned differently from shot to shot, your trigger finger contacts the trigger at different angles. This creates horizontal stringing on your targets as some shots pull left while others push right. Thumb placement seems minor but affects accuracy. Whether you rest your thumbs forward, wrap them around the grip, or place them on the side of the rifle frame affects how you interface with the rifle. Inconsistent thumb placement introduces small changes in grip angle that compound into larger accuracy problems. The solution requires developing a consistent grip routine that you use for every shot. Start with your firing hand placed high on the grip with the web of your hand positioned consistently against the top of the grip. Your trigger finger should naturally fall on the trigger at the correct position. Position your support hand with consistent pressure and placement. Whether you use a traditional grip around the stock or a modern thumb-forward grip on the handguard, place your support hand in exactly the same position for every shot. Apply consistent grip pressure by thinking in terms of percentage rather than feel. Use 70% of your maximum grip strength and maintain that pressure throughout the shot process. This gives you enough control without introducing tremor from overgripping. Practice your grip during dry fire sessions. Build muscle memory by establishing your grip the same way hundreds of times. The grip should feel automatic and natural, requiring no conscious thought during live fire. Number 4. The sight alignment nightmare. Perfect sight alignment is the difference between hitting the bullseye and missing the entire target. Yet many shooters have never learned proper sight alignment, and others let bad habits creep into their technique over time. Small errors in sight alignment become large misses at distance. The fundamental sight alignment error involves the relationship between the front sight post and the rear sight notch. The top of the front sight should be perfectly level with the top of the rear sight. The front sight should be centered in the rear sight notch with equal amounts of light visible on both sides. Even tiny deviations from this perfect alignment send bullets inches off target. Sight picture consistency problems destroy accuracy. Some shooters place the target at the top of the front sight post, others bury it in the middle, and some let it float above the front sight. Each variation changes the point of impact. The sight picture must be identical for every shot. Eye dominance issues confuse sight alignment. Shooters with cross-dominance problems or those who unconsciously switch between eyes mid-shot cannot maintain consistent sight alignment. The dominant eye should be clearly established and used for every shot. Parallax error with optical sights ruins precision. When using scopes or red dot sights, the eye position relative to the sight picture affects accuracy. If your eye isn't centered behind the optic, or if you position your head differently from shot to shot, parallax error moves your point of impact even though the crosshairs appear to be on target. Focus problems between the front sight, rear sight, and target create inconsistency. The human eye cannot focus on multiple distances simultaneously. For iron sights, the focus should be on the front sight, allowing the rear sight and target to be slightly blurred. For optical sights, focus should be on the target. Here's how to master sight alignment. Establish a consistent sight picture and stick with it religiously. For iron sights, choose either a 6 o'clock hold where the target sits on top of the front sight, or a center hold where the point of aim covers the point of impact. Practice sight alignment during dry fire with a clearly defined target. Use the same lighting conditions you'll encounter during live fire. Build muscle memory by achieving perfect sight alignment hundreds of times. Verify your eye dominance and stick with your dominant eye. If you have cross-dominance issues, work with an instructor to develop techniques that work with your physiology rather than fighting against it. For optical sights, establish proper eye relief and maintain it consistently. Mark your scope position or use adjustable combs to ensure your eye position remains constant from shot to shot. Number 3. The breathing disaster. Breathing seems natural and automatic, but improper breathing technique during shooting destroys accuracy more than most shooters realize. Your chest rises and falls with each breath, moving the rifle up and down. Your heart rate and blood flow change with different breathing patterns, affecting your ability to hold steady. The common breathing mistake is trying to hold your breath for too long while aiming. Shooters take a deep breath, hold it, and try to line up the perfect shot. As oxygen levels drop and carbon dioxide builds up, the body begins to shake and pulse. What started as a steady hold becomes increasingly unsteady. Breathing at the wrong time in the shot sequence ruins accuracy. Some shooters breathe while pressing the trigger, causing the rifle to move up or down during the crucial moment when the shot breaks. Others forget to breathe entirely during their shooting sequence, leading to oxygen deprivation and tremor. Inconsistent breathing patterns between shots create different levels of stability. One shot might be taken at full inspiration with the lungs filled, while the next shot occurs during expiration with the lungs empty. These different positions change how your ribcage supports the rifle and affects your natural point of aim. Using accessory breathing muscles during shooting introduces unnecessary movement. When shooters become tense or nervous, they begin using shoulder and neck muscles to breathe instead of just using the diaphragm. This upper body movement transfers directly to the rifle. The proper breathing technique follows a specific sequence. Take 2 or 3 normal breaths to oxygenate your blood and relax. On the last breath, inhale normally, exhale about halfway, then hold your breath naturally. This half-empty lung position is your natural respiratory pause, where your body is most relaxed and stable. Take your shot within 6 to 8 seconds of beginning your respiratory pause. If you need more time to achieve proper sight alignment, start your breathing sequence over rather than fighting against oxygen deprivation. Breathe between shots to maintain consistent oxygen levels. Don't try to take multiple shots while holding your breath. Reset your breathing for each shot to maintain peak performance. Practice breathing control during dry fire to develop the rhythm and timing. The breathing sequence should become as automatic as your grip and sight alignment. Number 2, the follow-through failure. Follow-through is what happens after the trigger breaks. but before the bullet exits the barrel. Most shooters think the shot is over when they press the trigger, but the bullet spends several milliseconds traveling down the barrel. Any movement during this critical time period affects accuracy. The immediate sight picture breakdown ruins accuracy. The moment many shooters feel the trigger break, they immediately move their head to see where they hit, drop the rifle to check the target, or relax their grip. The rifle is still firing during these movements, and the bullet path gets influenced by this motion. Trigger finger release at the wrong time affects precision. Some shooters immediately let their trigger finger spring forward after the shot breaks. Others maintain pressure but change their finger position. The trigger finger should hold its position until the recoil impulse is complete. Grip relaxation during recoil changes accuracy. As the rifle recoils, some shooters unconsciously relax their firing hand or support hand grip. This changes how the rifle behaves during recoil and can affect the bullet's path during its journey down the barrel. Flinching or blinking during the shot corrupts the sight picture. Anticipating the noise, recoil, or muzzle blast causes involuntary muscle contractions that move the rifle just as the shot fires. Even experienced shooters can develop flinching habits over time. The correct follow-through sequence starts with maintaining your sight picture throughout the entire shot process. Keep your cheek weld solid, your eye focused on the front sight or reticle, and your sight alignment perfect until the recoil is completely finished. Hold your trigger finger in position after the shot breaks. Don't immediately release the trigger or change your finger pressure. Let the rifle complete its recoil cycle before making any changes to your grip or trigger finger position. Maintain consistent grip pressure through the entire recoil impulse. Your firing hand and support hand should maintain the same grip pressure before, during, and after the shot fires. Don't unconsciously tighten or relax your grip during recoil. Call your shots based on your sight picture at the moment of trigger break. Develop the ability to predict where your shots hit based on where your sights were aimed when the trigger broke. This skill helps you distinguish between mechanical accuracy problems and shooter-induced errors. Practice follow-through during dry fire by maintaining your sight picture and trigger finger position for 2 full seconds after the firing pin drops. Build the muscle memory so that proper follow-through becomes automatic during live fire. Number 1. The maintenance neglect disaster. A dirty, poorly maintained rifle cannot shoot accurately no matter how perfect your technique becomes. Carbon buildup, copper fouling, and debris in the barrel change how bullets behave as they travel toward the target. Worn or damaged components introduce inconsistencies that make precision impossible. Barrel fouling is the accuracy killer that most shooters ignore. Every shot leaves microscopic copper residue in the barrel. After dozens or hundreds of rounds, this copper buildup changes the barrel's internal dimensions and affects bullet behavior. Some barrels lose accuracy after just 20 rounds without cleaning. Carbon buildup in the action affects reliability and consistency. Carbon deposits on the bolt face, in the chamber, and around the gas system change how the rifle cycles. This affects timing, pressure, and consistency from shot to shot. Carbon buildup can cause extraction problems, feeding issues, and inconsistent lockup. Scope mount problems develop over time and destroy accuracy. The constant recoil forces gradually loosen scope rings and bases. Even tiny movements in scope position change your point of impact and create groups that seem to walk around the target. Loose scope mounts make you think you have accuracy problems when you actually have equipment problems. Worn components affect precision. Trigger components wear over time, changing the trigger pull weight and consistency. Barrel throat erosion from thousands of rounds changes how bullets enter the rifling. Worn bolt lugs or action screws introduce play in the system that prevents consistent accuracy. Ammunition storage problems create inconsistent performance. Ammunition stored in humid conditions can develop corrosion or moisture absorption that changes powder burn rates. Old ammunition can have deteriorated powders that cause velocity inconsistencies and accuracy problems. The maintenance solution starts with developing a consistent cleaning routine based on your rifle's needs. Some precision rifles need cleaning every 20 rounds, while others can go hundreds of rounds before accuracy degrades. Learn your specific rifle's requirements through testing. Clean your barrel properly using appropriate solvents and techniques. Use copper-removing solvents to eliminate copper fouling and carbon-removing solvents to eliminate carbon buildup. Follow the cleaning process with patches until they come out clean, then finish with a light coat of protective oil. Check your scope mounts and rings regularly using proper torque specifications.